Previously on ICTBC.
And let's talk about what we're doing next month.
Yes!
Racine.
I like Suzanne Tobias, and she's going to be joining us for the next...
I'm sorry, but I like her.
I love her. We're going to be participating in the Read ICT Challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Hey!
There's a delay. We're enjoying our new setup here at ICTBC. We try a little something new every time, it seems like. And so anyway, we apologize for the delay. We were watching ourselves on screen.
Don't mind
Entranced.
us. Well, I was watching them, and I was entranced as well.
So we're very excited to have Suzanne Tobias with us today.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
I'm librarian Sarah, if you didn't know.
I'm librarian Racine.
And Suzanne. I work at the Wichita Eagle and Kansas.com.
And so Suzanne's here today to talk about our Read ICT Challenge that we're doing in partnership with the Wichita Eagle.
Yes.
And Suzanne, why don't you give us a quick little just recap of what this is for anybody who might not know.
Recap. Reading challenge to encourage you to read more and to read more widely. So basically it's 12 books that you can read over 12 months, and they're categories that you can interpret any way you like. And at your local library, you can get a bookmark that leaves you like space to write the title of the book that you choose to read. These are awesome. But anyway, so there are categories which we'll talk about today. And also, before I forget, I want to invite everyone to join the Facebook page. Where we get on there and we talk about kind of what we're reading, what we want to read, that sort of thing. But it is on Facebook. It's hashtag Read ICT Challenge. You'll find it there. And just join up. It's been fun already. And we're just halfway into January and people are reading like crazy.
I was reading a book that I was finishing from the previous year, so I wasn't quite ready to jump in the challenge, and everybody's, well, for my number, such and such, and for my number, such and such, and I felt very inadequate.
I did too, and it's, I came up with the thing. So
but it's been really exciting to see such the response that people have been having, and so if you're talking about it, if you're on social media, use that hashtag ReadICT.
Yes, that's right too, and really what we want to do is kind of create a community where people are saying, "What are you reading?" Yeah, and there's an answer.
There's
from the people that you talk
answers.
to. Yes, yeah. So we just want to sort of encourage reading in general. And the other sort of overall rule of the challenge, if there is any, is that there's no rules. So I've had some people say, "Well, could I use this for this?" For instance, one of the categories is a book with an animal on the cover. Well, it could be a book with, it could be a book with a bird on the cover, like Bird by Bird. It can be, what do you have there?
I've got a cat.
So, but then someone in our group is reading, on the Facebook group, is reading Turtles All the Way Down, the new John Green novel. It doesn't have a picture of a turtle on the front. It has a spiral. It's about it's a great book, by the way. It's about OCD and other things. But it has the word turtles on it, and it was like, I'm counting it, and I was like, you go. So you can do whatever you like.
Great. Yeah. Have there been any other confusion about?
What's your confusion?
Racine has an example for us.
I'm
confusion about any of the other categories.
Yeah. Well, it's a graphic novel,
which is category 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
It's also about a subject in the news. Rick Gladstone on the media.
Yeah.
So, and then somebody recommended it to me.
Yeah. So
what do I do?
3 different categories. That's a great example. When you're sort of doing a challenge like this, I've done challenges in the past, including this one last year, where if it fits into a lot of different categories or could potentially fit into more than one category, I sort of jot it down in both, and then as you continue with your reading through the year, if you find another graphic novel that you want to read that only would fit in graphic novel, you use that for the graphic novel category and move this to topic in the news. or vice versa.
Oh, I like that.
Or a recommendation. But that's the thing. There's so many that you can choose from. And the other thing I wanted to say too is people who read a lot, they might think 12 books is nothing. We've got people who are already on their 4th or 5th book. Read two per category, or there are all kinds of things you can do to adjust it.
Well, and so one thing that I'm doing, Racine and I have decided that we're going to do this challenge for ICTBC all year, and so we're very excited. And so each of the books that we choose for the rest of the year is going to fit one of these categories. But for me personally, I've decided I'm going to also do it on my own. So
great.
That's 24 books.
Yeah, that is. Which
you can do it.
That's my challenge. I know that'll be a lot for me.
I thought we'd talk just about what we're reading currently. Oh, wait, do we have
what? We've got people that have joined us, like Kathy and Diane and Kim.
Hi.
And Judy asked, what is a graphic novel?
Yes, it is not a novel that has graphic material.
But you know what? Couldn't you just do it?
Although, if that's your choice, and you want a graphic novel that way, then that's fine. A graphic novel is basically a book with art. Like a comic book, or a book told with pictures or illustrations as well as words. So yes, we have Mouse is actually
That's
a classic graphic novel, Art Spiegelman. I haven't read it yet. It's kind of on my list. The one I just completed is one called My Favorite Thing is Monsters, and it has gotten a lot of buzz. I'd bring it with me, but I had to turn it back into the library because it was due and someone else wanted it. So I don't want to make anybody angry. But
actually,
Mouse.
Yeah, we have a book set of that.
Oh, awesome.
So if your book club was reading it, you could check it out from the library, 10 copies,
yes.
and boom,
Awesome.
Everybody in your book club could read it.
Yeah.
So
there's another question right now. How do I get the list of books to read? If you go to, there's a couple different ways, but if you go to kansas.com/books, our main story about the challenge is on there. You can also go to the library website, which is wichitalibrary.org. Kansas.com/books or wichitalibrary.org. You can go to any library branch in Wichita and get the bookmark. Also, in my story about the challenge, we have a downloadable, printable PDF.
You can also download that from our website as well.
Also from the Facebook page. If you go to #ReadICTChallenge, the story is pinned on that, so you should be able to find it.
I see Kim's comment. My to-do list has grown so much, oh, wow.
If there's anything that gets you excited about reading, it's hearing about other great stuff that other people are reading. So if you don't know the term TBR, that means your to be read list. And my TBR, honestly, is in the hundreds now. I don't even want to know what it is. But new books keep getting published, and it's just
And I want to
crazy.
say the other thing that I thought was really interesting is seeing other people's way of organizing their TBR and organizing what they're reading, and just kind of seeing how people keep track of everything is really interesting to me.
Well, and the different sort of promises they make, like I'm not going to buy any books for this challenge. I'm only going to use books from my shelves, which is very admirable. But I'm not going to make that promise.
Would a church library count for a library book? Julie, absolutely.
Absolutely. Also, little free libraries are around town, so if you have a little free library close to you, that would count.
I've seen people
school libraries.
use them from the school library. I think I saw one from Wichita State.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, library book is the first category we want to. Obviously, we're partnering with the library, which we're very excited about, and we want to just get everybody into their local libraries, supporting their libraries, and we have a new, beautiful library being built in downtown Wichita, which we're very excited about, and that's going to be this spring. So, you're going to want to come and get a cup of coffee at the new library,
you will.
and then you need to get your card, and then you'll get all kinds of books there. So, and that's it. It's kind of your freebie category too, the library book category number 1, because it can be anything.
Now, if you are looking, if this today has not given you, we have a bunch of books here to talk about, which we'll jump right into.
Yeah.
But our category for library book, we decided to pull together some books about libraries. So if you wanted to take it a step further, like Dewey, the library cat, they found the cat in the book drop. It's a book about a library that you could check out from the library. So it's kind of meta.
Yeah, it is very meta. Very meta? Is that no? You can't be very meta. You're either meta or
Mega
you're not.
meta.
Super duper meta.
All right, let's talk about books.
All right, so let's get to category number 2, which is a detective novel or true crime. So that category, too, is an example of you can do fiction or nonfiction. What are you going to do? Or is
Well,
this one a possibility?
Actually, for if somebody doesn't have one of these books, this is The Child Finder by Renee Denfield. It just came out. We've got an advanced reader's copy of it free for whoever says dibs on it.
So if you want a free advanced reader copy or ARC of The Child Finder, what's it about, Macy?
It's about a woman who goes and finds missing children.
Okay.
So
Definitely a detective,
it's a detective, true crimey kind of novel.
Let us know if you want that book, and it's yours.
Yep, just comment dibs.
Dibs on the freebie. I am going to read finally. Hey, Kim Jury. No, I'm
Mark
sorry.
Madden.
Mark Madden was first. Sorry, Kim. We'll find something good for you. Maybe a bookmark. I am going to read Devil in the White City by Eric Larsen. Now, I have read one Eric Larsen book previously. It was the one about the Lusitania, the sinking of the Lusitania. It was called Dead Wake. And I really enjoyed it. I read that for a book club
Found
I'm
out
in.
it sunk, so
Yeah, sorry. Spoiler alert. Anyway, but Devil in the White City, every single person I've known who has read this book, and I know you have, has liked it. And a lot of people say that it's, for people who don't read a lot of nonfiction, that it's kind of a good entree into nonfiction if you're used to reading fiction. It's about, what's it about? The World's Fair and a serial killer? I don't know.
Well, and it's crazy because it's about architecture and the people that were involved in making Chicago, stand out from New York.
And that whole time period is fascinating.
That whole
too.
time period is fascinating.
So
all the people that were there. He's wonderful at making a great narrative, and it reads like it's you're there.
Now,
like
one
it's
other
fiction.
possibility I brought was Columbine, which I cover education for the Eagle. This is Dave Cullen's really groundbreaking landmark book about the school shootings in the Columbine in the high school in Littleton. So, one of those, or maybe both. I don't know. We'll see how ambitious I am. What do you know
For
what you're
mine,
planning
actually,
to do?
I'm going to use the what is it called? Sorry, thanks, Greg. The what's it called? What do we call Overdrive?
Ebook?
Yeah, ebook. Ebook service.
It's a phone book. But not a phone book.
Overdrive. And it's still checked out from the library. And I'm going to read Sue Grafton. I'm going to go with the detective novel. With her recent passing,
May she rest in peace.
I thought, what better time than to start this series? And so I'm going to read A is for Alibi. I just got it through Overdrive or Libby. We can help you if you need to download these books. But anyway, so I'm excited to try that. And ebooks also would count for...
Yes, absolutely. Ebooks, audiobooks, absolutely those count.
You can get audiobooks online through the state, the library, the state of Library, Kansas. It's RB Digital. That's another thing that we can help you out with.
And I think I actually saw somebody in the comments was saying something about RB Digital. So yes, use an audiobook. It's all reading. Read and read alike.
Read.
So anyway, that's the one I'm choosing.
Okay, the next category is a book about reading or writing. And I threw this in there because this is my stack of potential books about reading or writing. I'm just going to go through them. I love all these. Bird by Bird by Anne Lamott. The book that made me want to become a writer. It is fabulous. The Book Thief, people, ugly cries for this book. Ugly crying. Also fantastic. This is the book I might be reading this year. I haven't read it yet. The End of Your Life book club. It's about reading. This one, so great. The Storied Life of A.J. Fikri. Beautiful.
We did this one as an ICTBC talk.
Oh, so good. It's a book about books and bookstores and also just greatness.
And finding books at the right time in your life, which I really appreciate. Like,
I also read, and it's not in my stack because I had to turn it back into the library. I use my friendly Rockwell Branch library. Was My Life with Bob. It was by Pamela Paul, the New York Times books editor. And isn't it? Yeah, that's her name, Pamela Paul. But so Bob is her book of books. It's a book that she keeps about all the books she's read, but it's that sort of like what I was reading when.
Yeah.
And you know how you read a book and you kind of remember, what is going on when you read it. This is another possibility for me this year, which is Mr. Penumbra's 24-hour bookstore. I've heard good things about it. Hey, twinsies!
I listened to it, and I loved it. So yeah, you should. I recommend this to
So do you recommend the audio? Because sometimes the audio is better.
So I really did enjoy the audio. I mean, it's
Yeah.
a combination of books and kind of a mystery because anyway, this whole mystery unfolds because this guy who's kind of down on his luck took a job in a 24-hour bookstore, and this whole secret world like unfolds. And so it's all about books, but also technology, and
Cool.
It was really,
And there's
really
a little
fun.
fantastical element to it too, I thought. Maybe? No?
Not exactly. Not
Science
like
fiction-y? No.
Not really. I would say it's really more reading and writing. Don't you think? No, you disagree?
I would disagree because
Here we go.
it's got like this mystery to it.
Yeah.
And maybe not, well, yeah, fantastical, because who's going to make a secret society? Or I guess
Yeah.
I think of secret societies as fantastical.
Yeah. And too, if people have other suggestions for books that fit any of these categories, put them in the comments.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
other people, because this will be saved and people can see them. Because I was just thinking of Shadow of the Wind.
Oh, I love that.
That's about reading. And this is a book on writing. Stephen King on writing, which both fans and not particular fans of Stephen King have liked this book. Because it's kind of a memoir. It's a memoir. And it's also kind of about his writing process. So another possibility.
Jane Austen Book Club.
Oh, yes, the Jane Austen.
Did I read
Yes.
that one? I'm trying to think.
I'm actually might be reading Jane Austen for a different category this year. The recommended to you, because I've never read Pride and Prejudice. I know.
Hey, I hadn't read it until like 3 years ago, so
Okay, well,
I'm
it's
with
kind
you.
of my
Might
fave.
happen.
I've read it like 3 times.
Oh my gosh!
And I
So
took
it
a
might-
full Jane Austen class in college.
Yeah,
What?
that's
I'm a
awesome.
little obsessed. It's fine.
Okay.
So somewhere you've never been.
Somewhere you've never.
Can I take
been.
that one?
Yeah.
Okay. I have to admit it now. I am a historical fiction junkie, and I've never been to England, so I would have to say Enchantress of Numbers. It just came out. Tracy Chevalier, she did Mrs. Lincoln's Dressmaker, and just really quiet, beautiful, kind of quiet, or, powerful stories. This is about, gosh, now I can't remember his first name. Lord Byron, he was the poet. And Ada was his daughter.
I think he just
and
went by Lord.
Yeah, Lord Byron.
Yeah.
And
I've never heard his first name.
he
maybe.
was the back in the day in 1812, publishing all these great poems. And this daughter had to grow up in the shadow of her father, and she was a brilliant mind in and of herself. I started this last night at 5.
Whoa!
I mean, really, it's
And-
one of those books that I'm just kind of tearing through.
That's awesome. Don't you love that?
And so, yeah, I'm just.
So
she
where's it
takes
set?
you to the place in,
Yeah,
in England.
Oh, sorry, I missed that.
No, that's okay.
Lord Byron.
You just don't listen to me, do you?
Come on,
Lord
Sarah.
Byron. I was caught.
England.
But anyways, it was like, if you, I don't know, were a Madonna's child.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
people would flock around and, look at her weird.
I often
and
think, what would my life be like if I were Madonna's child?
Do you?
And
You find yourself thinking that
almost
often?
every morning. And then I just go about my life as not Madonna's child. My recommendation for this, if you've never been to Moscow, as I have not, is A Gentleman in Moscow. I know I cannot rave about this book enough. People are going to say, shut up about this book, Suzanne, because I've heard you mention it 50 million times. Sorry, one more time. Gentleman in Moscow by Amor Towles. I read it last winter on a day quite like today. Bitter cold, thinking about being in Moscow, and it's about a rich, an autocrat basically in Moscow who's forced to live inside of the Metropole Hotel in downtown Moscow, and just sort of how life unfolds around him. And it's an epic. I know they use epic novel a lot, but this is truly an epic novel, and it's delicious, as a person in my book club said.
Well, and a friend of mine called that French comfort food.
Oh yeah. It's
It's exotic, yet at the same time it's so filling, and so it makes you just happy with each bite.
Oh, it's just it's
That's
exquisite
a really
writing.
Nice, analogy. I like that.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Betty.
And what I'm reading right now, I actually read Fire and Fury over the weekend. We're not going to talk about that, though.
Topic in the news.
But I
it's
did
later.
it. And now I'm reading Big Little Lies, which is set in Australia, where I've never been. So that counts for this category for me, too.
For mine, I'm actually reading a brand new book. It comes out next month.
Oh.
It's Kristen Hanna's latest, The Great Alone. So she wrote The Nightingale.
The Nightingale, yes.
Which I had never read. I've actually never read Kristen Hanna before. And so this is my first journey, and I'm absolutely loving it. I was like Racine, and I kind of barreled through the first 100 pages.
And this one's called what?
It's called The Great Alone.
The Great Alone.
And so it's told from the perspective of a 13-year-old girl whose family's kind of all over the place. Her father went to Vietnam War, was a POW, suffered a great deal of trauma, and now he's back and struggling to fit in, and so they moved to Alaska. The Great Alone.
Okay.
And
a place you've never been.
so it's like, so far the whole first 100 pages is like winter is coming, and I'm just like, okay, winter's coming. The long night or whatever.
Yes.
So anyway,
Long day's journey into night.
it is fantastic, and I'm loving it. And this comes out in February, so
awesome.
I assume that I'm going to keep enjoying it because everybody loves her, and so
Cool. I'm
yes.
taking a peek at. Yeah, everybody's talking
Corey,
about.
you become a librarian. Sometimes you get
Oh
things
yeah,
in
Corey
advance.
and Mark. I feel like all my friends at the from the Facebook page are here. I feel like I know them even if I don't.
And
Moon
Corey
is a
earlier was
harsh
talking about-
mistress?
What?
Oh. You know what? It's really interesting, some of these books that, were written the year that you were born.
Oh,
and
yeah.
you don't know about them, because I didn't even know that Slouching Towards Bethlehem.
Yes, we can skip to that category, which is a book published the year you were born. It is so fun too. I put a couple of links on the Facebook page of websites you can go to find out what the bestsellers were, or just kind of what was published the year you were born. But yeah, I was born in 1968. I'm going to be 50 this year. Woo! And my list of possible books is weird. 1968 was the year of Electric Kool-Aid Acid Test. And Do
2001.
Androids Dream of Electric Sheep?
Oh, that's
Yes.
going to be a new series.
Yeah, so I could go that route, or Desert Solitaire is one by Edward Abbey, and Slouching Towards Bethlehem is another possibility.
2001,
So,
A Space Odyssey.
Oh, yeah.
I'm the same year as you.
Yes,
Yay.
birthday.
5-0. Anyways, I want to read the Autobiography of Malcolm X.
Oh, did that come out in 68?
Yeah, and that one is one that I've always had on my list.
Yeah. Who wrote
but
that?
I've never.
Just kidding.
Actually, I think Alex Haley wrote it with him.
Oh, really? Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, look, you were trying to make a joke.
I was. Didn't fly.
Sorry,
Well,
then.
it's all right. It's okay.
No, that's all right.
So,
my
Autobiography of Malcolm X.
one for my
Oh.
birthday is The Color Purple.
Oh, cool. So everyone can
I've
look
never
up
read it, and I'm kind of dreading it because I know about all of the difficult scenes in it. But it's one that probably everybody needs to read
it's
at
a
one point in their life. It's a classic.
I've not read it
So
either.
I'm looking
good
forward to it, but also I'm scared because I get traumatized by things.
Oh, really?
So,
You don't like
yeah.
to read difficult
I don't.
novels?
I
I
like
kind
to
of
read
like
happy
them
things.
in a weird way.
So I'm going to read A is for Alibi instead of a true crime book. Like
Yeah.
so everybody's reading about BTK
Yeah.
in the group.
That is another possibility. There's the BTK
no, thank
books.
you.
and-
No, thanks.
No,
But I think
you make
everybody
this challenge your own.
Makes it their own. Exactly.
Oh, Harriet the Spy.
Oh my
Or
gosh.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah.
I mean,
Everyone poops, really, Stephanie? Everyone poops. Hey, I did say no rules, so you can find a children's book. Oh, that's a great book too. Everyone poops.
You know
What's
what?
the, such a great
classic.
life lesson.
It's classic.
Yep, everyone. The equality.
We are running short on
my
time,
gosh,
though, so
let's-
we should probably. I know, unless you
this
guys want to
flew
go
by.
longer than 20 minutes.
Oh, I can stay.
I mean,
But,
we can talk for hours.
I'm trying to think what if there's topic in the news was another thing that was like a little bit confusing for people, and it does not even need to be a nonfiction book. Like people were assuming that a book about a topic in the news had to be, a book that was, plugged on the news or something, or like Fire and Fury. But it could be a novel. I'm remembering a novel I read last year called This Is How It Always Is, and it's a novel about a family raising a transgender child, and we know that sort of the transgender issue is in the news quite a lot, so you can go that route as well.
we're going to read for the ICTBC. We're going to read
The Power.
Oh,
by
Yes.
Naomi, and I want to say Alderman is her last name.
That sounds right.
It's something that starts with an A.
Yeah.
But Naomi's hiding because
has a hand. Has a hand on the cover.
Yeah.
I know
It was
that.
on Obama's list of books that he really enjoyed.
Yes, I
if
don't have
you
it.
follow him at all, but
Yeah.
the anyway, so we're going to be reading that because the whole Me Too movement and this
Yeah.
book is all about.
It's about the way I
kind of
understand it.
science
It's
fiction, I
about
think.
teenage girls who get the power to kill people, or something.
They get
right?
this electrical
I'm just
charge,
kidding. I don't
like this
don't
electrical
advocate that.
spark.
No, you don't have to advocate
But
it.
you know
can
what?
still read
Here's the
about it.
thing: it's all about physical power,
Yeah.
and I think it's one of those. Whereas for so long, women are considered the weaker sex. I mean,
Yes.
that's what I had always
Yeah.
heard growing up.
Oh, I look forward to reading that. I'll read that one.
And so now that they have this electrical spark, they can literally overpower other beings that don't have the spark, i.e. men.
Yeah. Wow.
And how does that role reversal, do they handle their power well?
Yeah.
Are they just? Are they nice? So that's kind of
I read it.
interesting.
I read the description of it, and I was like, "Racine, we have to read this book." And then I promptly forgot what the book was about.
It's I
Because
know
I
that
got
it has
busy
a
doing other things.
blurb. There's a blurb by Margaret Atwood.
Okay.
Margaret Atwood loved it apparently.
It
so,
seems like it would
Yeah.
be right up her alley.
you know.
Speaking of books, real quick, we should plug.
Speaking of books,
Hey, you know what?
we weren't even talking about books, Racine. I don't know what you've been listening to.
Next month, we're going to be reading one that I've always wanted to read.
Same.
And it's crazy because it's like I haven't read it.
Wait, is that
Octavia Butler's
Kindred.
Kindred.
Oh.
And so she's a science fiction writer, African-American woman. She passed away too young.
Yes.
And what was it? Parable of the Sower was one of my favorite books for a long
I
time.
have not read her at all either.
Well, join us next month if you want to.
Is there a list of
Diane,
upcoming books for the
that's
online
a great
book club?
question. And we don't currently put them out there much further than the first couple of months. But as Racine and I are pulling together our list, I don't see why we couldn't and put it out there so you could read along with us and join us all year long. It's we've picked a number of, well, I think all of our books are going to be awesome.
Yeah.
I'm excited to read all of them.
And
Well-
even when you don't like the books, the discussions are
Yeah,
good.
we've had that discussion.
Yeah, that's
Because Racine and I sometimes
Disagree?
disagree. And I think
No,
that
that's
makes for a
awesome.
good conversation. So we still love talking books.
And if you're wanting a copy of the books, you can call in because we try to have book sets available or copies available at least at the main library. And you can direct message us and ask for it to be sent to another library for you possibly.
Yes.
So-
The other thing we should mention too is you can track your books online on the Wichita
plugging us.
Library website, wichitalibrary.org/readict, right? And that way you can track what you read online, just the way your kids do in the summertime. It's just like that same sort of program, so it's handy.
And we should mention that as part of our program, if you do track your books online through our website and you finish the challenge, you will be entered into a drawing to have a lunch to talk about books.
Yes, because we want.
with
There's so much
Suzanne.
more to talk about,
I
and also eat. You would
Yeah.
also eat lunch.
There's food involved. So food and books, and it's like tying the two things that
Yeah.
everybody
Oh,
loves
so
together.
fun. Yeah.
So anyway, that would be incentive to go online and sign up with us.
Yeah.
And then join our Facebook group with Suzanne and spend the whole year just talking about books.
I am having so much fun already, and we're like halfway through January. I don't know. I mean, how much more fun can we have? That's what the challenge. I mean, how much fun? Just give me 2 more minutes,
Okay.
Because I have to say the category of animal on the cover is so fun. Because last year we had a category a book with a blue cover, and that's what everyone sort of remembered the challenge for. It was like, oh my gosh, I'm looking for a blue book, and all of a sudden, all of a sudden when you're looking and shopping for a specific car, all of a sudden you see those cars everywhere. That's how it is with these books.
I do notice it a
Yeah,
lot.
so now I'm seeing all these books and I'm seeing like little animals on the cover. I'm like, on the cover. So these are just some possibilities. Straight Man by Richard Russo. Love Richard Russo. It has a duck. A Walk in the Woods by Bill Bryson. I've not read this. I've not read any Bill Bryson.
But this is one of
This
his...
is his nonfiction, Trek Through the Appalachian Trail. It's got a bear. Seabiscuit, if you want nonfiction animal stories. I hear that's a real
I can
page
actually
turner.
attest to that. This was a great book. I read it in a college class, and I was like, what? I can read nonfiction and enjoy it. And that's what this book
You
did for me.
too can read nonfiction and enjoy it. And then this one is a book that so many people have raved about to me. It's Eowyn Ivy's The Snow Child. And it has a little fox on the cover, I noticed the other day. So I've been wanting to read it anyway. Anyway, I just thought the animal on the cover category is.
I'll share. Can I share mine as well?
Oh, yeah. No.
So,
We're done now.
okay.
No, I'm kidding.
So I've put this on every single list that I've put together for this challenge. It's in the poster. It was when we went to the mayor's challenge or the mayor's briefing. I brought it with me.
Oh.
I think this book is very interesting, and I want people to know about it. Anyway, Karen Joy Fowler. We are completely beside ourselves. There's a tiny little gorilla.
Oh, I think it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
you see?
It's
There's a little gorilla.
Aw.
It's little. And he's on the side, I guess. But anyway, so it's all about this little girl who was raised, her parents are scientists, or her dad is a scientist, and she's raised alongside a gorilla. And they raised them like sisters, like twins. And so, like, the gorilla knows sign language, and there's this constant stream of graduate students that are, like, watching them. And so it's all about, watching the development. And then the gorilla becomes a gorilla, and they get scared, and so then they send her away. And so this whole thing is just, it's really interesting.
Wow. Who wrote it?
By Karen Joy Fowler.
Karen Joy Fowler.
And I'm not even doing it justice because I'm trying to be fast, but it was really good.
But
you can get it here. I strongly recommend it. If you need a book for recommendation because you haven't had enough today, you can use this one. So.
Cool.
Okay, well, I know that there's a million books that we wanted to talk about.
We are surrounded. This is so fun for me. I'm surrounded by books and cool people, cool
But
librarians.
you have a lot of resources at your disposal to help you decide what books to read here at the library, on the Facebook group. Give us a call. We'll talk to you. We'll continue in the comments here.
Yeah, we'll catch up with the comments.
And thanks so much for everybody who joined us today. I think this was a really great discussion.
Yeah,
it was
thank you
fun to be
guys.
able to see your comments in mostly real time. And and so we'll follow up on any that we missed. And any final thoughts, ladies?
I don't think so. Just
Read.
keep reading and join. It's
books.
never too late to join the challenge. And if you have any questions, come on the Facebook page, post what you're reading. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
All right.
Yay books.
Yay books. That's my signature now, apparently.
Well,
It's like
we've been created into a GIF.
a GIF. Yeah, we're an animated GIF now. And Racine goes. And I go, yay books.
Okay. Well, we
Silly.
loved having you. We loved having you.
Oh, I love being here. Anytime.
And
Thank you so much.
we will see you guys
All
online.
right. See ya. Bye.